Hi guys, I have a cheap Ibanez acoustic for today's video that I got for free, and my intention is to fix it up for a friend who wants to get into learning the guitar. He's in his 30s, but it's never too late, right? So I want him to have a well-playing guitar that's easy to play, easy to learn on. I got this one for free, and it's a nice, fairly nice acoustic. It has a laminate top, but it has a nice sound. The model number is IJVC50NT. I guess that's natural top 3U01. Whatever that is. These like long model numbers, Ibanez. It's made in China. Has kind of these cheap tuners, but you know, it stays in tune okay. And has a little bit of damage right here, but not gonna be too hung up about that. It still sounds and plays fairly well, so just to give you a little taste. It does sound nice, but I think we can make it play a little nicer. What will really affect playability is the nut and how that's cut. On this one, it's not perfect, but it's not too bad, so I'm not going to touch that. But you can also adjust the action right here. And essentially what you need to do, because there's no adjustment screws like on an electric, you need to take this plastic piece out and file it down or sand it down. And you always sand the bottom, of course, and that will drop your action, string action. Now, string action is measured at the 12th fret between the bottom of the string and the top of the 12th fret. I'm going to try to get to like 3/32 seconds on the bass side and about a 1/16 on the treble side. Now you can take some sort of a ruler and kind of measure it, you know, especially you could use a caliper, of course, if you have it, for accurate measurements. But what I like to do is actually just take I have these Allen wrenches that I know exactly the size that I can just kind of stick under there and see, you know, it's not an exact measurement, but I can kind of roughly see whether the string height is good or not. So this one is actually kind of good on the bass side, and then a little more than 1/16 on the treble side. So I'm going to take this out and mark it up with a Sharpie. That's how you know how far you have to sand. And when you do that, essentially the math is super simple, because at the 12th fret, you're exactly halfway to the bridge. So if you want to have 1/16, which would be a lot, but if you want the 1/16 of difference here, then you have to sand this down by 2/16. So double, obviously, you know, it's goes back to Pythagoras' theorem, but it's very simple math. So you just have to double it. In this case, I'm just going to take down just a little bit, and then if I play it after and it's great, then I will leave it. If I can go a little more, I will go a little more. You don't have to be too worried about this, because you can always shim it. You know, I would probably use like a piece of, you know, hardwood veneer or something to, if I go too far, I can put in a little shim underneath and then raise it back up. So it's not a huge deal. Wanted to show you my kind of little trick here to put the capo on kind of close to the nut here. And that way I don't have to take the strings off. I can just loosen them and they still stay in place, and then I can just tighten them back up. But my goal is to loosen them enough so that I can take the plastic piece out. One caveat, guys, that I wanted to point out is that before you do this, you should check the curve, the relief of the neck, which should be really the first thing that you set up. So that's usually set by an Allen wrench right here. And so you hold down the first fret on the, let's say on the bass side, and then hold down the fret where the neck meets the body, and then kind of halfway, right around the 7th fret, 6th to 7th fret, depending on your guitar, you kind of have to just tap on the top of the string. There should just be barely any relief, you know, just a little bit between the top of the fret and the string. You can kind of hear it and feel it. So on this guitar it's perfect, but that should be really the first one. And never do more than 1/4 of a turn, you know, and then let it settle, play it a little bit, and then if you need more you can do more. But if that doesn't help and your action is still too high, that's when you do this. All right. Okay, so this is the plastic bridge saddle. I really only want to take off maybe, you know, just a little bit, like maybe a millimeter. That will give me it's about 0.03 inches. That will give me half that in action at the 12th fret, so 0.5 millimeters. Of course, I want to have a little more on the treble side, like I said. So I'm just going to eyeball this. You know, you could like really measure this out accurately, but you know, it's not a high-end guitar. I'm kind of doing this by trial and error, so a little more on that treble side, and the whole thing should like really only be about a millimeter. I'm going to try to eyeball this. So, okay, kind of like that. That's good. Just using this Sharpie to mark it. So make sure we can keep ourselves honest here. And then take this old piece of coarse sanding paper and start grinding. You know, of course I wouldn't do this on an expensive guitar. It's a cheap guitar. If you have a nice guitar, just take it to a luthier, have them do it. But those actually should come pretty well set up out of the box. So anyway, I'm just gonna start grinding. I'm going to check the Sharpie marking, and also just make sure to kind of, you know, try to keep it straight and apply a little more pressure on the side where you want to take more off. That is the treble side in this case. Okay, guys, so this is about there. So I'm gonna take some finer sandpaper, make sure that this is nice and smooth. Put it back in. Guitar sounds great. It actually sounds better in my opinion, and plays so much better. So I'm gonna put this in the gig bag and deliver it to my friend. And also just don't forget, if you do too much, you can always shim it. Just put a thin piece of wood right under that saddle, or you can actually buy these on Amazon as well. I can pop a link in the description.